Good morning, boys and girls. Today, I'm actually going to do something different. I am going to do a little bit of a chapter book for you, and we're going to call this First Chapter Friday, even though it's Wednesday. So we'll call it Why Not Wednesday. But I've chosen some books because my kids at home here have a large book collection. And of course, we've got lots of sports books and lots of mysteries because that's what they enjoy. We also have lots of books about girl characters, because Avery really likes those. One of the things that she liked is she liked the series Ivy and Bean. Have you ever heard of Ivy and Bean? Ivy and Bean, like I said, it's a whole series, but she really liked them because they did some great things. I do have a couple of copies of different Ivy and Bean books here at home, but the majority of my books are at school. And so if you want to borrow those when we get back to school, please feel free to ask me because I have probably 10 of them. But today I'm going to read the first chapter from Ivy and Bean Breaks the Fossil Record. All right, this is called Drop Everything. Here's a picture of Ivy and Bean. Boring, boring, boring. Bean turned her book upside down and tried to read it that way. Cool. Well, sort of cool. Not boring. No, boring. Bean sighed and turned her book back right side up. It was a book about cats that she had picked up from the school library. There was a different cat on each page. Bean liked cats, but reading about them was driving her crazy. All the cats looked the same except the Sphinx cat. That one doesn't have any fur. He looked halfway between a dog and a rat. Bean liked him the best. Here's the pictures of them reading. I bet Ivy's never seen a Sphinx cat, thought Bean. She knew she wasn't supposed to talk during Drop Everything and Read, so she poked Ivy in the ribs. Ivy's eyes were binging across the pages of her book. Bing, bing, bing. She looked like she was watching a ping pong game. She didn't even notice that Bean was poking her. So Bean poked her again. Hey, she whispered. Earth the ivy. Huh? Ivy mumbled. Looky here, it's a dog rat. Bean whispered louder. Ivy looked for a little tiny second. Oh, she said and went back to reading. Bean sighed again. All the other kids in Ms. Aruba Tate's second grade classroom were bent over their books. Even Eric, who usually fell out of his chair 2 or 3 times during Drop Everything and Read. He was very quiet. He had a book about man-eating sharks. McAdam was picking his nose. Bean raised her hand. Miss Aruba Tate didn't see because, well, she was reading too. So Bean called out, Miss Aruba Tate! Shh, whispered Miss Aruba Tate. What is it, Bean? There's a problem, and it starts with an M, began Bean, looking hard at McAdam. And then N-P. She wiggled her finger next to her nose, just in case Miss Aruba Tate needed an extra hint. Miss Aruba Tate looked at McAdam, too. Then she put down her book and came over to Bean's table. I brought this from home especially for you, Bean, she said, holding out a big, shiny book. See, she pointed at the cover. It's the Amazing Book of World Records. I think you'll really like it. Bean wasn't sure. What's a world record? When someone does something better or longer or weirder than anyone else in the world, that means they've set a world record. Weirder? Bean asked. That sounded interesting. Ms. Aruba Tate smiled. There's a man in here who walked on his hands for 870 miles. You mean on his hands and knees like a baby? No, said her teacher, just on his hands. With his feet in the air, said Miss Aruba Tate. No way. Read the book, you'll see. Miss Aruba Tate returned to her chair. Bean opened the shiny cover. Here's a picture. And she saw the very first page. Guess what there was? There was a picture of a woman whose black hair trailed behind her like a fancy cape. Bean read that her hair was 19 feet long and that the woman had been growing it since she was 12 years old. Wow, thought Bean. Doesn't it get dirty? And aren't there bugs in it? Bean turned the page. Ew! A man was eating a scorpion. Double ew! He ate 30 scorpions in a day. On the next page was a picture of a boy with 256 straws in his mouth. What did his mouth look like when there were no straws in it? Big and slobbery, Bean guessed. Ivy, she whispered. Ivy! Ivy's eyes stopped binging back and forth. What? Check this out. There's the man eating the scorpion. And there's, let me see if I can get this in here. There's the woman with the long hair. And that's the end of the first chapter. I hope you liked my first chapter Friday. Well, why not Wednesday? This is called Ivy and Bean Break the Fossil Record. I hope you enjoyed the story. You can check these out by looking online, trying to find them. Maybe you can find the online edition. If not, guess what? When we come back to school, just ask. I'd be happy to lend you an Ivy and Bean book. Have a good day.